My name is Yasin Stamatov. I am the CMO at FlowXO. Probably like every email that you saw in the past 2 to 3 months was just coming from me. And so if you want a person to hate, that is me. But also, if you received value after this webinar has ended, you also have me to thank for, at least partially. So with that said, I'm going to pass it on to Nathan as well to introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm Nathan Stoltz. I'm the CEO of FlowXO. We've been around for like 5-6 years now and have helped thousands of companies implement conversational tools in their businesses. And I have built dozens of bots with our customers over the years. So I'll hope to share some of that today.
Nice, thank you. So with that said, I think we are ready to just begin. So we'll start with a quick overview of what we are about to dive into today. So first, we will go through an overview of what AI chatbots are. We will discuss the types of chatbots, the different types of chatbots. Then we'll go through the top 2 use cases of chatbots. We will discuss something very important, which a lot of people miss, and it is the limitations of AI and how to actually overcome these. Then we'll dive into the actual meat and potatoes, which is the step-by-step tutorial on creating your first AI virtual assistant. After that, we have a very special offer for everybody attending. We'll jump into a Q&A and we'll end it with a free consultation draw. I urge you to stay by the end of this webinar, by the way. We've made sure for everybody who's attending to get value out of this webinar, like real value. So with that said, what's an AI chatbot? Essentially, it's just like a large language model, which understands human language very well and is able to respond similar to how a human would naturally respond. That's it. That is what your customers would see somebody who is just typing against the chatbot. This is what they will see. And then what are the 2 different types of chatbots? So we really can boil them down to 2. You have the rule-based chatbots, which are best suited for simple, repetitive tasks with predictable inputs and outputs. And then you have the AI chatbots, which are really suited for complex tasks such as customer support, personalized recommendations, and more. And then you can also argue there's like a 3rd type of chatbot, which is called a hybrid model. It's just a combination of 2. So let's not overcomplicate things. With that said, there are really 2 top use cases that we saw based on our own data. So the first one is automating business processes. This is where you would create your mini applications to solve specific problems. And for example, one of our clients, they have a system, and like inside their business, they're just using Google Sheets and they have their own system. And so their system doesn't integrate with Google Sheets for whatever reason. And so they are using FlowXO and its very powerful integrations to connect Google Sheets with their system. So this is just an example of how you could create a mini application just using FlowXO. So it's a bit of an unorthodox use case of a chatbot, but it results in significant cost savings by reducing the need for just manual interventions. And can you guess what is the number 1 use case though? Just type in the chat. What do you think is the number 1 use case? Okay, so Louboutin actually was correct here. Customer support is the exact number 1 use case. So automating customer support. This is where you would enhance efficiency and customer satisfaction. You would provide accurate and relevant information 24/7. And in fact, like another client of ours, after integrating the chatbot, they raised revenue by 20% in the course of a year without changing anything else. And this was because users stayed more on the website, and so they generated more revenue through ads. But that's it. Like, I'm just curious, how many of you are using use case number 1 or use case number 2? Just type 1, 2, or both. So one, two, or both. So we have one for automating customer support already. Like, okay, so we have more people. There we go. All right. So let's just proceed to create an AI virtual assistant. And like, I kind of wanted to show you what we're going to be building here. So we have a client of ours called Edsby. They are a K-12 education learning management system. It's just like, think of SaaS for education. And they had implemented the rule-based chatbot, but their clients weren't as satisfied. And then we introduced the AI version of it. They integrated it using our help. And after that, they were so impressed, they created a whole folder with highlights of moments where the chatbot performed spectacularly. And they shared it with us. And right now, I'm just going to share 3 screenshots with you to see what we will be building up to. I'm not going to read through these examples, but like, think about it. Like, would you ever program this when you're fine tuning the bot? Like, they are very specific examples here. And the chatbot, the AI chatbot, was able to actually pick them up naturally. Like, here's another one. It's just like the way it responds, it flows very naturally in a conversation. And this is where the AI really shines. It's just able to pick up on the nuances in a conversation. Let me just, I'm just taking a look in the chat to see if everything is going fine. Okay. So yeah, like, it's really about picking up those nuances in a conversation. And mind you, like, this is what we will be teaching you to build right now, just by yourself. And so before we do that, though, we need to really understand what are the 2 biggest limitations of AI chatbots. Like, what are your thoughts here? What do you think is like one of the 2 biggest limitations of AI chatbots? Come on, get that engagement high. Quality of the FAQ database, expressing empathy. I just showed you a screenshot of a chatbot expressing empathy. Come on. No, it's a liar. By the way, it's a liar is a spot on. So, uh, well, okay. So, right, we have a couple of correct answers. So, the first one is a lack of up-to-date knowledge about your business. And the second one, which most of you guessed right, is straight up lying, or the correct term, hallucinating incorrect answers. But yeah, lying. So how do you solve that, right? Because there's a way to solve it. And this is where what people miss, and this is what we're also going to teach you. So it's really a simple 3-step process. First, you upload your website or knowledge base to a special database. Then you give the AI the database and user questions. And finally, you let the AI find and provide the right answers. There's a terminology for that, by the way. It's not random. It's called RAG. And for everybody wondering, it's just retrieval augmented generation. It's an AI framework developed by Meta. It might sound complicated, by the way. Like, initially when I saw it, I was like, what the? But when you start reading into it, it's actually really simple. And it's one of those things which has a very complicated term, but it's something like very simple for whatever reason. So really, it's the equivalent you're asking the model to respond to a question by browsing through the content in a book, as opposed to trying to remember facts from memory. In other words, the results are just a lot more accurate. With that said, are we guys ready to jump in? Shall I hand it over to Nathan, or are we just gonna stand on this screen and you're just gonna watch me? Dimitri's like, yes, go away. All right. Well, Nathan, the stage is yours.
So we're going to be building a AI chatbot on a website called the Preparedness Experience. It's just a little website that has a whole bunch of articles on surviving in the wild, preparing for disasters, things like that. And when we're done, our chatbot users will be able to ask any question they want about survival, as long as the preparedness experience has an article on the topic. And it'll also give them a link to the relevant article that it's referencing. So let's just jump right in. All right, so the first step in setting up a RAG-based AI agent is to connect your website to FlowXO. So to do that, we have to use our knowledge bases feature and create a knowledge base. So we'll create a new knowledge base. We're just going to call it TPE. Sorry. And so now once you have a knowledge base, then you can set up an AI agent to ask any questions that a user may have about that knowledge base. You can either add new documents manually, or you can connect a website. And if you connect a website, which is how we're going to do it, I just have to copy the URL of the website, put it into the start URLs, give it a quick name. Then FlowXO behind the scenes will start reading every page on your website, converting it into a format that AI likes, and then automatically make it available to be queried by the AI language models. You can have as many knowledge bases as you need, and we'll actually use a couple in this demo. So next, we're going to create a bot so that we can actually serve the knowledge base and the AI assistant to users. So this is very simple. Many of you may have done this before. So we'll create a new bot. Our the AI bot we're going to make today is going to work on the web. You'd usually install it on the website that you're getting your data from, such as the preparedness experience. But there's many other use cases for the other channels, and you can use these bots in any channel you want. So, but we're just going to do a web bot. We're going to call it preparedness experience, and we're going to put a welcome message to greet our users. Ask us anything you want about survival. Actually, us is a little bit personal. All right, that's all that's necessary there. And so then the last page of the bot configuration is the code snippets you would need to install this bot on your website. But there's also a direct link to the chat. And what I always like to do every time I create a new bot like this is I like to put the bot in its own tab and then sort of move it off to the side so it's always there and I can continuously test while we work. So I'm going to sort of create a little sidebar here, and then we'll use that as we go. Okay, so now we're connected. It doesn't do anything yet because all it is a empty chatbot. All it's going to do is regurgitate the welcome message. So we need to set up a flow. And a flow in FlowXO, for those of you that don't know, is really the brains behind your chatbots. The flow is all of the various rules and messages and whatnot that you'll be responding to and sending to your users. In our case, we have a very simple flow because we're using AI. So we'll go to the flows section. We'll create a new flow. In this case, we use a blank flow. And there's many different types of triggers, which is what causes a flow to start based on incoming messages or other actions. For this, we're just going to use a catch-all trigger, which means that every single message the user sends will activate this workflow. Just what I always do when I start a new flow is rename it right away so that I can recognize it later and then I enable it so I don't forget. All right, so we have a trigger. Now we need an action to actually do something when the user sends a message. In your rule-based flows, you'll usually use a wide variety of actions as you're guiding the user through various steps. But for the Q&A, for the AI chatbot step, all you really need is from the knowledge base area, the answer question. And then everything else is pretty much taken care of. And the only required configuration on this is the message coming from the user. We'll scroll down and pick message. You can set all kinds of things on this. I encourage you to refer to our documentation to help you tweak it for your own business. But there's one setting I like to set right away, which is to include source links in the response so that the bot will send back links to the articles that it's referencing in its answers. Okay, so at this point, we've already created an AI chatbot that can answer user questions. If we were to ask it a question right now, it ought to be able to take the question, look up some source material from the knowledge base, and construct a reasonable answer. So before we actually test it, let's just pop in and see if our knowledge base is actually doing what it's supposed to do. Reading documents, and it is. It's done. It read 87 pages from the website, so we should be good to go. So let's see if it worked. Okay, what is a good survival bow? Did I just forget how survivable? So Chatbot always takes a few seconds to think because OpenAI is a little bit slow, but there it goes. We have an answer. The AI looked up an article here, 10 survival bows, constructed a nice answer. And so that's actually working. Let's just try another one. Let's see. How do I store rice? Jeopardy music is playing. All right, it gives us a nice numbered answer, various steps to take to store rice, and again, a link to the article. If the user clicks on this, it'll go straight to the Preparedness Experience website. So that's really about as easy as it gets for your first steps towards creating an AI chatbot. And in fact, you can get a long way with just these several steps if you have good reference data in your knowledge base. But AI is not always perfect for a lot of different reasons, one of which may be that you simply don't always have the answers to your users' questions on your website. So let's ask it a question that it might not know. For you Star Wars fans out there, I'm going to ask it, how do I survive a night on Hoth? So Hoth is a fictional planet in Star Wars. It's frozen, gets very cold at night. So we wouldn't really expect a real website to have an answer to that. And in fact, it doesn't. So let's just say for the sake of this demo that our survival website has a lot of Star Wars fans, and as a kind of Easter egg, we want to be able to answer that question. But we don't really want to add an article on surviving Hoth to our actual survival website. That wouldn't necessarily be professional. And this is just a silly example. In actual practice, there will be real questions about your business that your website isn't answering, and you'll want to go through the same process. So that takes us to the next step, step 3, which is fine-tuning the bot. And there's many different ways that we can improve our bot when it doesn't know the answers to questions, or when it answers the questions incorrectly or incompletely. And so we could either update our website and add new content, update content on our website. The changes will show up in FlowXO within 24 hours. We can create a dedicated FAQ using our intent detection feature. That's a big topic that we're not going to go into now, but we'll cover in a future webinar. And then one of the easiest, most common ways is we can create documents in a knowledge base manually to cover edge cases that our website isn't covering the way that we want them to. This is the technique I'm going to show today. It's really easy. It's really powerful. It takes effect instantly. So to do that, we're going to create a new knowledge base. I always keep the fine-tuning documents in a separate knowledge base from what's being read from your website automatically. We're just going to call it manual fine-tuning. All right. And so whereas before we connected to a new data source to fill our knowledge base, in the manual fine-tuning knowledge base, we're going to be adding documents manually. We're going to call it surviving Hoth. And so now we have to create some content. If we already know what we want this to be. We can just type it in. We can copy and paste it from PDFs from some other web page. And that what I'm going to do here is I found an article on instructables on staying warm on Hoth. Of course, this exists. And so we could either just copy the text into the document, but there's a tool called Web Page to Plain Text. It's actually designed for taking a web page and extracting AI-friendly text out of it. So we'll use that in this case. There, it's done. And we just copy the text. We're going to stop once it gets to the comments because that's not going to be helpful for our AI. We'll paste in that block of text. And then I'm also going to put the URL in the source URL field here. That means so that when the AI gives an answer, it can send a link to the user back to that web page. All right, so now we have a new knowledge base with a document on Hoth in it. And this should take effect within a second or two. So we should be able to ask the same question. How do I survive a night on Hoth? And we should get an answer. And we did. So we got a fairly in-depth answer on surviving a night on Hoth. You can obviously ask more specific questions, can ask anything that that web page discusses, and the AI will construct a nice, thoughtful answer about that. So in this case, we knew we needed to add this extra document because we tried a question during our testing of the bot that the bot couldn't answer. And that's actually a really good way to get your bot ready for your users as you're building it. You should ask it everything that you can think of that your users might ask, and make note of the good answers, and especially the ones that you're not that happy with, so that you can tweak it using this technique and other techniques, and including choosing the correct model, like GPT-4 versus GPT-3. But in practice, you're not going to know all the questions that your users ask up front. So you can test all you want, which you should, but your users are still going to ask questions that you're not expecting, that your website's not expecting. So over time, we need to keep an eye on how well our bot is answering our users' questions and make tweaks to ensure that it keeps learning along with our business. So that leads us to the next step, step 4, which is monitoring the performance of our AI assistant. And FlowXO provides a few different ways that you can monitor how your bot is doing. You can just, on the live chat page, you can review, you can set this to be all conversations. You can watch the conversations as they happen and look at them this way. And you can use the Q&A history in the knowledge base itself. So in our knowledge base section, we have a Q&A history, which is just a raw log of all of the questions that we're asking AI specifically and what the answers are. And then, so you can use that to see if you're getting good answers. But for this demo, we're going to use a feature called our evaluation feature, which is fairly new, but it's really powerful. It's a big feature. We're only going to touch on it surface level right now, but it'll give you a taste of how you can monitor the quality of your bots over time. So to get this started, we just have to go into our flow, and we're going to edit our answer question task here. And at the very bottom, we're just going to select request feedback to yes. And what that's going to do is that when we ask when a user gets an answer from the AI now, they're going to be presented with a little thumbs up, thumbs down, so that they can say if they were satisfied with the response. So say, what is a good survival goal? Oh. Okay, didn't like that. Maybe I spelled that wrong. Let's do one that we've done before. How do I survive? Wasn't able to figure out that I meant survival there. Survival. Not close enough. All right, so you can see now that there's thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up buttons. Let the user basically say if they're happy or not happy with the answer. In this case, we're gonna just say not happy for a demonstration. They'll thank them for their feedback. You can customize the responses, and you can also take different actions when your users give you feedback. For instance, you could set up a flow so that if they give you a thumbs down, you can ask them more follow-up questions about why they're not happy. But for now, we're just going to take the simple route. And so there's an evaluation tab over here, which is access to the evaluation feature, and it will collect every negative review. There's also configuration that you can do that I'm not going to go into detail here, where you can have it sample either 25, 50, 70, or all of the questions that the AI gets, whether they're rated highly or poorly. It's usually a good idea to at least be reviewing some portion of your questions so that you can just keep an eye on things. Users might not always give you a good review. They may ignore that sometimes. And then you can also set a setting for how often you want questions that the bot wasn't able to answer to be sent to reviews. It is important to continuously monitor when your bot can't answer questions, because that's usually an opportunity for adding content to your website. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the details of this, but there is a whole workflow that's built in here so that you can manually review the quality. We don't have the analytics up yet, but it's coming soon so that you can view this numerically over time. And there's a process in here to indicate which evaluations should need further correction and which ones are good. So I encourage you to read the documentation to see how all of that works. All right, so we're almost done with the first version of our bot here. As simple as it was, it's already pretty powerful. But one thing that it doesn't do is it's not able to send our users to a live agent. So the AI is great. It can reduce your need for human-based customer support significantly, but if your business provides agents to interact with your customers, the AI is never going to be able to completely replace that. And so if you were to ask it right now, I need to talk to an agent, it's not going to be able to give a very useful answer. So it just says, sorry, I can't help you. That's probably not what you want if you are providing live chat to your users. So what we need here is something other than the knowledge base. And that's where our intent detection feature comes in. Intent detection is a different kind of AI that it goes in between your user's message and the knowledge base to determine if there's any actions that your bot is pre-programmed to support that the user might be wanting to do, as opposed to just asking it a simple question. The intent detection feature, I have a hard time saying that word. The intent detection feature, like our evaluations feature, is a very big topic. We're not going to go into a lot of detail right now, but we are going to just set it up real quick so that you can see the mechanics of how it works. So to get to it, we'll go into intents on the main navigation. And we have to create a new intent detector, which we'll call default. An intent detector is just a set of mappings between intents and actions. And I'm going to type this into the test, the same type of message I did before. I need to talk to it. All right, so since we haven't programmed any intents, it's picking unknown. We're going to create a new intent. We're going to call it agent chat. Now if we type, I'm not going to type exactly the same thing. I need to talk to a person instead of a human. It matches that intent now. And so we do need to edit this intent because right now it doesn't do anything. but we need to edit our agent chat intent to simply tell it that the action should be to start a live chat. And these actions can be a variety of different things. I encourage you to explore that. They can launch different flows, can send menus. It's very powerful. But for now, we're just going to use the default settings to start a chat. So just I'm going to take a quick detour here. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but the way that intents work is you want to configure it with a variety of different samples of things that your question, types of ways your users might ask. So you might want to say, transfer me to an agent. So that's not close enough. Oh, actually, it was close enough. I found that. But nevertheless, you want to just like when you're building your knowledge base Q&A, you want to do a bunch of tests and make sure that you have that you're covering all of the ways that you think your users are going to ask the question. So now that that's there, if I do the same thing, I need to talk to a person. Then there we go. We're now chatting with the person, and we can connect and say, hello, how can I help you? Saying hi. All right. So that is that. And that chat now. So that's it. We just created a fully automated AI-powered customer service agent that can answer any questions about our business that our website can, and some things that our website can't. We connected our website to a knowledge base. We set up a web bot, created a really simple one-step workflow to feed questions into the AI. We fine-tuned our bot to answer questions about a Star Wars planet that wasn't covered on our website. We learned to monitor our bot's performance over time using evaluations or logs or live chat. And we integrated flexible human handoff mechanism to escalate chats to an agent when the bot detected that a user needs to talk to a person. Over the course of the demo, we glossed over a bunch of details, particularly with the intent detection and evaluations. We will do future webinars on those topics and go in depth, but I encourage you to look at some of the links we'll send after the webinar to learn more about how to customize all that for your business. And that's it for the demo. So I'm going to turn the stage back over to you, Yasin.
Thank you. By the way, guys, be sure to remain because we are about to jump into the Q&A. And I have something more to share with you. So Nathan, can you just stop your screen sharing?
Sure.
So I can turn on mine. So we're actually in here. There you go. Okay. So how was that of an introduction into the world of AI chatbots? Like, do you feel like you can build your own AI chatbot right now? That is a question to you in the chat. Please engage with me. But like, okay, like it is very easy to implement, but right now I'm just guessing, can you recall all of the steps? They're like steps 1 through 5, right? But then if you had to do it right now, would you be able to do it? Without missing any detail, that is. Well, you guys are very confident. Like apparently we did our job well. I was expecting you to say no here, actually, just so I can just drop this link that I just dropped. It's just a walkthrough on with a step-by-step visual. It's really an SOP which you can give to somebody else to create their own chatbot. If you have an agency, you can just give it to whoever is building up the chatbots, and then they can build the chatbot for your clients, for example. I'm just gonna drop the link again. Walk through. I didn't spell it correctly, I think, but that is fine. You can download that link, and yeah, now you have an SOP. With that said, we just showed you how to create your assistant, but like you will also need to purchase AI credits. You also need like some subscriptions and whatnot. So we're gonna jump into this very quick offer, and this is only for the people that are actually interested in implementing this AI version of the chatbot. our regular monthly rate is at $25 right now. And yearly, this sums up to $300. So if you purchase by the end of the webinar an annual subscription, you will receive a 33% discount. So the annual price drops down to 200, but still you will need the AI credits, right? So you will still have to pay more, right? Well, no, because we will also give you $50 worth in AI credits. And very quickly here, Nathan, what can people do with $50 worth of AI credits?
So AI credits for GPT 3.5, which is the fastest model, are 1 credit per question and answer pair. So that would be 5,000 question and answers that you could serve to your users.
Thank you. And if that is not enough, by the way, if all of this is not enough, we also have the first 10 people that act now will get a 20-minute consultation with Nathan. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop a link to a Stripe checkout, and you have until the end of this webinar to purchase this. So I'm going to go quickly over again, like the whole offer, and then we're just going to jump into the Q&A. So again, if you paid monthly, it would be $25 per month. And annually, that would sum up to $300. Right now, you have the opportunity to purchase a subscription at just $200, so 33% discount. You also get $50 worth in AI credits. Like, guys, if you actually need it, I think this is a killer offer. And then, like, the first 10 registrants that will receive a 20-minute consultation with Nathan. So the savings are 42%. And that is not even calculating the first 10 registrants, by the way, because 20-minute consultation with Nathan would account for about $120. So the total for the first 10 registrants will be 470, and they only have to pay 200. So if you wanted to scale your customer operations team, would you just pay 200? I mean, and you receive 470 in value. So with that said, we are going to jump into the Q&A, and you still have until the end of this webinar to claim the alpha. So I'm going to open the floor to anybody who wants to ask a question. The way to do it is raise your hand. I'm going to unmute you, and you can ask your question here. We also have a couple of questions in the chat, I think. Oh, you've handled. Okay, so just wait, let me find you. So we have Jesh. I'm not sure if I pronounce this right. You can unmute yourself now.
I don't know if they can unmute themselves.
Well, I'm going to ask them. Jeshua. Is it Jeshua? Okay, so while Jeshua is figuring it out, how it's applicable for other languages.
So the AI works with other languages fairly seamlessly. We, of course, did our demonstration in English, but you could ask those same questions in Spanish or Russian or French, and it would have provided an answer in that language. The source documents also can be in any language. We could have had our entire website in German and asked questions in English, and the AI is going to respond using the appropriate language. In general, it works a little bit better when the language matches the documentation, but it does a pretty good job translating on its own.
All right. And next question is, what about connecting it to a CRM?
So we have a couple of connections to CRM, Pipedrive and a few others. And then you can also connect FlowXO using HTTP REST if you have a CRM we don't support, or you can request your CRM if you don't see it on our list. We do not currently have an automated way like that's as simple as the ask question task to ask questions about the CRM, but we do have a wide variety of ways that you can do that yourself in FlowXO. So there's a whole suite of AI tools where you can feed it your own source data. So you can query your CRM, take that data, put it into a prompt for the AI, and then apply that to a user question. You have to know a little bit about how AI prompting works, um, but it's actually quite straightforward.
Okay, so we have another question by Shamlan in the Q&A section. The question is, so we have a large knowledge base of video guides. Is there a way in which we can plug these video guides into FlowXO in the knowledge base and get the AI to go through these videos and provide the response to the client?
So yeah, we currently don't support automatically transcribing videos. That is on our roadmap, though.
Okay, next question. It seems to be by me. I don't know if I have a twin here, like another
Yeah,
Yasin's to my
I
question.
noticed that as well. Someone logged in as you. You've been hacked. Yes.
Might have been, but the question is legit though. Do you plan to integrate voice recognition, voice to text
Yes.
equals
Yeah.
to
But
whisper?
both directions. We don't have an ETA at this exact moment, but we are going to integrate, like you said, Whisper, which is OpenAI's voice voice to text, and also they have a text to voice API that will also be integrating.
So I think the same person, because that's under my name, says I normally spend around 45,000 a month with my current flows. How many AI credits would I be spending monthly if I switch to the AI chat?
I don't have any way of knowing that. It all depends on what's causing those 45,000 interactions, if it's one flow or multiple flows. A credit is one question and answer from
That
the AI.
just a quick one. So this is related to the GPT 3.5, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but then you guys also have the option to upgrade to GPT-4 as well.
Yeah, that's much more expensive, although that's actually like 30 times more expensive, so it costs 30 credits for a GPT-4. OpenAI also just released yesterday during their developer conference GPT-4 Turbo, which is going to be faster and more capable than GPT-4, and it's also going to be cheaper. That just came out yesterday, so we don't have it integrated yet, but we should by mid next week, at least in preview. That also answers another question I saw come through in the chat. I think there was a second part to that question about the capabilities of GPT-4 Turbo, and I don't want to go
Yeah.
too in depth, but there is a new AI assistant API that we'll be taking a look at as well. So for those of you that are also following OpenAI, know that we're following it as well, and we'll be building, that stuff into the platform as it stabilizes. Right now, it's all preview.
Yeah, like we do have some time for a few more questions. So Lubotonev asks, can we download CSV for human evaluation?
Oh, no, not right now, but that's actually a good idea. So I'll add that to our list.
So thank you, Lubo. I keep seeing my name in the Q&A, like it's very
No, it's
weird.
not weird.
So how about how about integration for multiple environments as Telegram chatbot, website, etc., where users, English or Russian speakers, if they can use in a different language? Wait, so I think he's asking if he can integrate multiple channels such as Telegram and website into FlowXO, where it can answer simultaneously like English, Russian, whatever languages.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so short answer is yes. So Johan asks, we use Atlassian's Confluence as our knowledge base repository. Can FlowXO connect with them?
So we don't currently have a direct connection to Confluence, but that is something that we are interested in. If you reach out to support at FlowXO privately, I would love to have that discussion.
Then Sebastian asks, is there a way to force the responses to be broken up into short paragraphs and multiple chat bubbles instead of long form answers? So in other words, like, can it answer like a teenage girl?
I mean, we don't have an automatic way of doing that. If you really wanted it, I suppose it could be done in FlowXO. It just wouldn't be. There's not like a setting you could turn on. It might be a little bit tricky, but you could do it using a loop or using some custom code.
Right. Then, wow, guys, we cannot keep up with the questions. We have time for a few more questions, probably like 2 more minutes, by the way. So is there a way to force the response? Oh, no, wait. Will OpenAI be able to generate videos or pictures or documents on your platform using credits or tokens?
Yes, it doesn't. It does. Right now, you have to use the raw OpenAI API integration, which we have. But you can't use tokens that way. You have to use your own API key. But with this latest release of DALL-E 3, we're very eager to add credit-based picture generation. I don't know about videos. I'm not sure OpenAI can currently generate videos. I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, then Fabio asks, is Whisper going to be only in English or available in other languages too?
You know, I'm not sure. I don't know if Whisper's English only or not. The OpenAI website can probably tell you that.
Okay, then Shamlan asks that rule-based chatbots are able to integrate with Slack, but he asks if the AI-based chatbot can do that as well.
Integrate with Slack? Yeah. All the channels are supported. So the AI-based chatbot is just using normal flow tasks that happen to connect to AI. So there's no difference. Anything you can do with a regular rule-based chatbot, any platform that we support, you can do with AI.
Dennis asks for a couple of tips on building a knowledge base, but I think this is perfect for an article, and we don't really have that much time to answer this right now. So I'm going to select one final question, and we're going to proceed on to the free consultation draw. And just quickly remind you that you can still purchase the yearly subscription for just 200. I'm just going to drop the link in the chat again. With that said, let's select one final question. Okay, so can FlowXO teach the pattern how GPT should take data from Google Sheets, analyze them, and reply to client?
So yes, like I said, we have a variety of AI tools that will let you more directly connect to the language model, and so you can fairly easily query Google Sheets and feed that data into OpenAI with a prompt and get a response back. There's a little bit more manual work than what we demonstrated today, but it shouldn't be hard.
All right. Well, with that said, I think we are ready to jump into the free consultation draw. So it is normally you would pay $350 for 1 hour worth of consultation time with Nathan. Right now, we're giving it away for free to one of you. So there are 39 participants. Like, we'd like this to be received by somebody who actually needs it. So if you don't need it, you can just leave this webinar right now. There's nothing after this. So yeah, feel free to leave if you don't actually want it. But if you need it, you could use it to troubleshoot your current chatbot for best practices, bot review, bot training, build a proof of concept bot, or something else which you haven't thought of. These are just some ideas for you. But when we draw you, just to ensure the person that receives it actually needs it, you will be asked the question, what will we use the consultation for? And so you only need to provide a very short answer. It's more to ensure the person that receives the consultation actually needs it. We don't want it to go in vain. With that said, we're about to, it's going to be a random number generator. There are 32 people, well, 30 attendees right now. And if you don't want to participate, you can just leave. We're
Yes, and
gonna
there's
wait
something
like
wrong. There's like half of the participants are you. So I'm not
yeah,
sure
like
how we're going to
I'm
what we're
just
gonna do.
gonna like I don't know why half of the participants are me. Yeah, that is a bit weird, but like let's just proceed with it. And if it's me and somebody's playing games and decided to be with my name, there we're just gonna draw it again.
Yeah, I think there's too many of them for that to be the case. So maybe what we should do is have people type their name in the chat if they're interested and pick from that list, because otherwise I'm afraid it's not gonna be fair.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Like let's do that. Just type one message in the chat right now, and this is how you're gonna be considered. Okay, so in the meantime though, let me
Okay, but you have to put your name, guys, because when we see Yasin Stamatov come up, that's not helpful. So if you just wrote interested, rewrite your name. All right, go ahead, Yasin.
okay. So let me share my screen here. There you go. Right. So I will type a random number generator, but we have to count the people who are interested. So I'm just gonna count them. Count with me, guys. There you go. This is what I see. So we're gonna start from Dimitri. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 people. So I mean, these are fairly even odds, right? So random number between 1 and 14. So like
Do
this.
15. We just got one more.
Okay. Anybody else? Like the way I'm gonna count them is from this is 1. Dmitry Soloviev is 1. Then this is 2, 3, 4, and so on. But this is the 1. Do we have more? No. Okay.
Looks like well, yep. So 16.
Okay.
All right,
So
Eugene's last.
16.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1. And it's 13. So you said 16, right? So
That would be
16,
Roman.
15, 14. Roman card seems to be the winner, I think, right? Let's count it again from the start. It's only 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep. Well, congratulations to Roman card. Like if you can message me with your email here in this call right now, that would be great. And then we will connect with you to set up a call with Nathan. And by the way, like, what do you want to use the chatbot for? Oh, wait. So Roman Cart actually participated twice. Fabio is correct here. But at the same time, so I counted this. I didn't count this. So I'm referring to this person here.
This I don't know what we're gonna do about that. Yes, and I think we should just
No, because like I counted top to bottom. So even if I remove this one, it's still Roman at the end of it. So that is fine. There was another one at the top. Oh, I didn't see another Roman. No, there's not. All right, I have a service. All right, so this is his. Okay, you're correct. You are correct, by the way.
Roman is 2 colleagues from different computers using the same links. I think it's good. Yes, and let's.
All right, okay. So like we're gonna leave it with Roman this time, but Roman, please, can you unmute yourself? I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself and just tell us what are you gonna use the consultation for. Just let me find your name. Okay, so I asked you to unmute yourself now. You can speak.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, we hear you.
Thank you for a nice presentation. It's just my first days. I try to get acquainted with all these functions of ChatGPT, how we can use with our current projects. So thank you for this nice introduction.
Yeah, but like, what are you gonna use the consultation for?
So we have a project. It's actually working for 10 years already. We are organizing live events. It's speed dating events and also some events where people can spend time together, dining, playing some board games. And what is idea that we can introduce ChatGPT to our bot, to our clients. First, that they can share some more information with ChatGPT to collect more data and make matching between our clients, and maybe somehow to improve our service, to give some advices how people can prepare for the date, for a date, or how they can set relationship and all this stuff.
Okay.
So
Very cool.
we understand that also it's a kind of matter of our marketing. We want, instead of our site, we would like to lead our advertising traffic to the bot and communicate straight from the bot, not from the site, because site has only 3% conversion rate. But the bot is supposed to have a higher rate of conversion.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Can you shoot me your email here in private? Do you know how to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, shoot me your email so I have it, and right after this meeting, I will go. Whoops, let me not share the screen here. Okay, so I do have it. So with this, the webinar has concluded. Roman, we will contact you after this webinar so we can set up your call. But thank you everybody for joining us, and hopefully you learned something new today.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one. Bye.